Hello everyone. In today's tutorial, we are going to look at how to design African men's wear banner in Photoshop. So let's begin our work. So go to File, select New, and then input your width to be 10 inches and your height should be 5 inches, your resolution to be 80, and then your color box should be RGB color and hit on OK. Now zoom this to the come to this tool over here, that is the zoom tool, and then hit on fit screen, so you get something like this. All right, so the next thing we are going to do at this point is that double click on this, on the background, double click on the background like this and drag it to the down here and make a duplicate of that. All right, so now go to FX and then go to gradient overlay. Now open your gradient box and then open the color stock and then highlight this. Let's go back to our text and then copy this color code, Ctrl plus 6 C, or you can right click on that and select copy. Then let me minimize this and then let me paste this color code over here. All right, so I'll get a code over there. Now let me open the next color stop like this. Let me go back to my text and let me copy this color code, Ctrl plus C, or you can right click on that and select copy. Now let me paste this, Ctrl plus V, and then let me hit on OK, hit on OK, and then hit on OK one more time again. All right, so the next thing we are going to do at this point is that we are going to pick our pen tool. Pick your pen tool. Now before I pick the pen tool, let me set a guide for our work. So bring one guide here, pick it and bring it to this place, and then make sure the width is the same. All right, so we get something like this. Now let me bring this one, let me set one also over here so that I'll get something like this. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'll go and pick my pen tool and then let me make first selection over here, so that let me come here as well and let me make another selection here. Whilst you click it over there, do not leave your hand on it, just drag it, okay, until you get a perfect. All right, so you can bend it out to what you want. Okay, all right, now the next thing is hold down Alt and then cut the arm over here and then bring it down and then move it to this end. Now come back and join it over here. All right, so your shape has been drawn for you. Now go to the fill over here, open it, and let's change the color from there. Highlight this and then let's input this color code FFCE0A and hit on OK, so you get something like that over there. Now what you are going to do over here is that you go to your move tool and pick your move tool, Ctrl plus. Now select your shape like this, rotate it a little bit. Now bring it down like this, bring it down a little bit to something like this. Okay, now the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to duplicate this, so Ctrl J to duplicate that. All right, now let's change the color for this one too. So let's pick this and then let us adjust it to something like this. It is too dark, so let's bring it. Okay, let's make it a bit close to that. Okay, so we'll get something like this. So it's okay for me. Now let me rotate this also to something like this, and then let me push in the first one. Let me push in this one, push it in a little bit so that you get something like this. All right, now let's duplicate this again, Ctrl J to duplicate. Now let's rotate the duplicated one also to something like this, bring it to this end, rotate it again so that you get something like this. All right, now let's change the color for this. Double click at this place and let's change the color as well to something like this, and then hit on OK. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to bring this over here. Just hold it and drag it, okay, so that you get something like this. Now let's rotate this a little bit again, and then bring it in like this. All right, now hit on the check button over here. All right, so the next thing, let me take off the guide. So let me go to view and then come to clear guides. All right, that is it. Now let's go back, pick your shape tool, go to your shape, right click on it and pick ellipse tool. All right, and then from there hold down shift and then draw a shape like this. Okay, now position this shape like this. Now let me bend this a little bit to something like this. All right, so that we get something like this over here, something like that. All right, the next thing is duplicate this, Ctrl J, and bring this to this very end so that you also get something like that. All right, so that is it over there for us. So what I'm going to do next is that I am going to duplicate this again, Ctrl J, and then duplicate that, hold down shift and alt and drag this in like this. All right, now the next thing is I'm going to change the color for this so that I will get a blending color. So copy, highlight that color code, and let's input this color code over there, 451A00. All right, now come to this place to duplicate this shape, Ctrl J to duplicate that, hold down shift and alt and drag this in, drag this also in like this. All right, now let's change the color for this one. Let's pick the color from here like this and hit on OK. Well guys, that is it. Now the next thing we are going to do, go to your shape tool again and pick your rounded rectangle and change the radius. Let's test this and see. Let's test the shape, let's test and see whether that will be good for me. All right, so that is good for me, so let me draw it here like this. All right, now let me bring this shape and position it at the down part like this. Ctrl J to duplicate that, and then okay, so let me work on this one first. So Ctrl J to duplicate that and then drag this in like this. Now let me change the color for this to, let me change the color for this to white and click on OK. Now let me duplicate this again, Ctrl J to duplicate that. Now drag this also in a little bit so that you will get something like this. All right, and then let me change that color as well to something like this, and let's hit on OK. So we'll get something like this. So the next thing I'm going to do at this place is I'm going to hold down the three, hold down shift and then select it like this, Ctrl J, and then hold down your shift key before dragging so that you get a perfect alignment. Okay, now duplicate this again, Ctrl J, and then hold down shift, and do that. Okay, let's duplicate it back and then hold down shift before dragging. Now let's duplicate that again, Ctrl J to duplicate that, hold down shift before dragging that. Okay, then Ctrl J again before dragging. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to select all the rounded rectangle. So this is the rounded rectangle. Hold down shift and select all. Now squeeze them a little bit or make them smaller a little bit. Now position them over here. Let me close them up a bit to something like this, all right, so that is there for me neatly. So the next thing I'm going to do, let me select this shape like this, go to file and go to place, and let's bring in this picture. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well, and also don't forget to leave your comments at the comment section box below. All right, now right click on the picture and select create clipping mask. All right, so that will enter there. Now hold down shift and drag this in like this. Now position this very well, position it to the best position that you want. All right, so I want something like this, so I'll leave it like that. Now come to this side, go to place, and then bring in this image and click on place. Now bring it on top of the shape like this, bring it on top of the shape, open this up like this, and then come to the shape and right click on it and select create clipping mask. All right, now hold down shift and alt and close this a little bit, close that a little bit like this, so that we get a shape like this. Okay, and then you hit on OK. Now let's come to the rounded rectangles, go to place again, and then let's bring in my first man into the shape. All right, so bring it here, hold down shift and alt and close this up a little bit. Now position it on top of the shape like this. All right, now let me come here, right click on it and select create clipping mask. Okay, now let me close this also up a bit and let me position it. All right, now let me zoom out so that we'll see perfectly. All right, so I think that is cool over there. Go to file again and go to place, and let me bring in this man and close this up like this and position it here, open it up a little bit to fit. Okay, now right click on it and select create clipping mask, bring it down like this. All right, now let's select the next one, go to file, go to place, and let's bring in this man. Now close this one too like this and bring it close like this and position it over here, open it and select create clipping mask. All right, now let's select the next one. Sorry for that. All right, so let me bring in my burger. All right, my burger man. Now I'll close this down like this. All right, please don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly subscribe to the channel for more videos. Okay, now the next thing is right click on this and select create clipping mask. Let me excuse my gentleman down a little bit, gentle boy. All right, now that is it. All right, so guys, that is how we clip mask images into shapes. Okay, now let me group all of this, let me select them, Ctrl G and then let me name this background. All right, so that is it there for me. Now the next thing is I'll pick my type tool. Pick your type tool, and the font we are using in this particular design is Lato. That is the font you are using, Lato. Lato. Okay. All right. So let me put this also on black. Okay. And then let me go to my text again. And let me copy the business name, and that is Ghana Men's. Ghana Men's. Copy that, and then Control V, and let me paste that over here. So let me position this now at this place. And let me open it up a bit, and let me close this and bring it down to something like this. Okay, let me open my character box, and let's change the color for this for now to something like that, so that you'll be seeing everything that we are doing. Let me close this to 25. Okay, now select your type tool again and bring it here. Go back to your text and copy this and paste that here. Okay, so that you get something like this. All right. Okay, so Control A, and let me center this, and then Control D to deselect. All right, so the next thing is let me right click on this and go to blending options. Now come to gradient overlay, open this, and we are going to make few adjustments. Okay, now we are going to add some few colors to this. All right, so the colors that we are going to add is the coder A30376. Then hit on OK. Open this one too, and let's pick this very color from here so that we'll get something like that. I think we have to change this one too because it doesn't blend. So let me pick something like this from here. All right, so I think that is good. That is good over there. All right, so from there, let me drop a little shadow for this so that we can see what you are doing properly to something like this. The distance, let me bring it into, let's say 3. Okay, and the size to, let me see, 4. I think 4. Okay, now let me put it on 3. I think that is good over there. And let's change the angle to 90. I think that is a bit okay. It looks a bit okay. Now let's go to the satin, and let's work a little bit on the satin. So let's input this color code A73722 and hit on OK. Now let me decrease the size of the satin a little bit. Okay, let me do it like this way, and then the distance to reduce it a bit to something like this, and let me increase the angle to 90, and now I can then hit on OK. From there, now let's go and let's give a little stroke as well. The stroke, let's reduce the size to 2, and let's change the color from there to this very color. I think that doesn't work, so let me use this color. Okay, Ghana Men's wear, and let me hit on OK, and then hit on OK again. The next thing is that we are going to duplicate this, So Ctrl J to duplicate that and bring it down like this and move it to your right a little bit. All right, so it makes it to look a bit okay over there. Now let's select our type tool again, and we are going to go to your text again, and let's copy the slogan. Ctrl C to copy that, and then Ctrl V to paste that. Now what we are going to do next is we are going to reduce the size for that to 12 for now. Okay, so let's bring it down to this place, position this. Now Ctrl A, and let's center this. Ctrl D to deselect a home where African wear is a priority. All right, so let's go to our FX and let us drop a little shadow to this, the distance to something like this. Then I can then change the color for the text to black. I think this black will be okay to something like that. Then I'll hit on OK and hit on OK. I think that is a bit okay over there. All right, so that is it. You can position yours at wherever you want. Okay, but let's add a little more attraction to this. So pick your shape and let's make a little shape like this. Okay, now let me change the color as well. Let me change it to black, and then let me add a stroke I'll add should be and let me reduce the stroke a little bit. Let's reduce that. Okay, let me bring it down a little bit like this. Okay, bring it close, duplicate this, and then move it okay to this end like this. All right, now the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to copy our type, our location, our contacts, copy that, and then pick your type tool and then paste that. Bring it down here. So I'll go to my shape and then bring this one here like this. Okay, now select this and bring it on top of that. But let's change the color for this at once. Let's change it to white and hit on OK. That is it. Now we are going to change this one, the color to this very black, and then hit on OK. Hit on OK over there and position it. Sorry, position it on top over here, and then let me open this up. Let me open this up. Okay, open it a bit like this. Okay, let me position it neatly here like this. The next thing is we are going to select the tool, Ctrl J, and we'll duplicate that and bring it here. Okay, position it like this. Okay, move this in like this. Pick your type tool, and then let's go and copy the location. Sorry,
Okay, now let me type there. Okay, now let me go to my file, go to place, and let me bring the location icon, and let me reduce the size for this to something like this. And bring this down like this to this place. Close this up a little bit, close it up a little bit to something like this. Okay, let's go back to our file, go to place, and let's bring in this as well, and position this one to close it up. Hold down shift and alt. Let's close this one to up like this. Now let me select this and bring it to this place a bit. All right, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to right click on this and go to blending options, and then choose color overlay, and let me change the color to this color. Okay, I think that is good over there. All right, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, kindly subscribe for more videos. So the next thing I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to pick my rounded rectangle, pick your ellipse tool, and then let's add a little look to this. So draw a shape like that, change the color to white. Okay, then let me take off this transform, duplicate that, Ctrl J to 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 duplicate that. I think that is good. Now let's select all of them. Come to your layer side, and we are coming to select all the ellipse. Hold down shift and then Ctrl J to duplicate that, Ctrl J, no, Ctrl J to duplicate that, Ctrl J to duplicate that again. I think that is okay. Now let's select all of them again. Shift and then Ctrl E to merge them. Then let me close them down a little bit. Okay, it should be like this. All right. And then I can then position it here like this. Then I'll reduce the opacity. Reduce the opacity for this. Then Ctrl J to duplicate that and bring it here like this. Ctrl J to duplicate this and bring it here like this. Ctrl J to duplicate and move it here. Alright, so guys, that is the design for us. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel for more videos. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye bye.